This is Hey guys, my name is Em and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So in today's video it is going to be a summer TBR video. I have been really bad at doing TBRs lately because I don't really stick to them in a month, so I never really do them. But if you do want to see me do more TBR videos, if you like this one, let me know down in the comments because I can do them. Not guaranteed that I'll stick to them, but I can do them. If you hear any noises throughout this video, it's Misty. She's currently taking a nap on a H&M bag and I'm okay with it because she's cute. So I have a lot of books that I want to get to this summer because realistically, have I got anything else to do? No. So I'm going to spend that time reading and hopefully getting through my TBR. Again, not guaranteed that I am going to read all of these books, but we'll see how it goes. I may be taking part in like some readathons and everything that I don't know about yet. It's okay, this is just a basic guide. Okay, so there's a lot of books on this TBR. I've tried to divide them into categories if I can. Even though this is my TBR and like my reading list, hopefully you will get some book recommendations from it and pick up some new books. I don't know, maybe. These are not all necessarily like summer books, but some of them are. We're just rolling with it. So first up, I do have my romance category. I'm planning on reading a lot of romance this summer, even though I don't typically tend to read like contemporaries and stuff. There's other ways to read romance. I'm not going to be going through the books that I plan on reading on Kindle Unlimited because I usually just pick those up spur of the moment. I don't actually like have a TBR on Kindle. However, I will definitely be reading some Kindle Unlimited books because they're literal perfection, and also the spicier the better and nobody can see the cover and nobody can see what you're reading. But for the physical books that I have on this TBR in the romance category, we're just gonna get straight into it. So the first one that I have on this TBR is Beetride by Emily Henry. I have heard mixed things about this, but overall it just sounds like a very perfect beach read. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going to the beach or like going on a holiday this year because obviously we're not going abroad, but I don't know if we're going away anywhere. This would be perfect if I did. Not sure if I am. This is about two writers that are kind of rivals, so we do kind of have like a hate to love romance in here, and our main character moves to her father's old house after he dies to like get out of her writer's block, and her rival is like living next door to her, so they decide to like swap genres and like write each other's books and take each other on the trips based on those books, because she's a romance author, he's like a fantasy author or something like that, and like they get to know each other, and there's apparently a lot of tension, a lot of angst in here, and I'm here for that. So I'm very excited to read this. Also, I'm hoping to react to this video at the end of the summer and see like how many of these I have actually read. I did that for my lockdown TBR and let me tell you, I changed my mind a lot, so that will be interesting. I love these seasonal TBR videos. Let me know if you want monthly ones or seasonal ones. Okay, next up we have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This is a Hades Persephone retelling, and what I've heard is this is very spicy, but also some people haven't liked it. I know Bisma didn't like this book, but I'm very excited to read it. It's not long at all. Okay, so the next one is a bit of a trashy one and a bit of an ambitious one too, based on the size of it, but it is Crushed by Tracy Wolff. This is the second book in the Crave series, which is essentially a Twilight knockoff. It follows like this boarding school where there's like mythical creatures and like vampires and stuff, and we follow our main character, I think her name is Grace, and she moves to this school after her parents die because her uncle runs it, and like we figure out this mystery thing that's happening and like this danger that's happening. It took her so long in the first book to realize that like something fishy was going on, but once she did, it got into it. I wouldn't say this is like a spicy book or a smutty book, but there definitely is a lot of romance in this book, and though it is YA, it's definitely like upper YA. I think from what I remember anyways, there was quite a lot of like romance scenes, which I'm very excited about, and this one is the sequel. It is huge. It's kind of a guilty pleasure read, so I don't mind too much the length, and I should be able to get through it fairly fast. Okay, so the next one I have is one that I've attempted to start before, kind of DNF'd it, and now I really want to pick it back up again, and it is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I started this last summer. I don't know how far I got into it, but I feel like I got like about 100 pages in, and I really didn't vibe with it. I didn't vibe with the writing style, and I just thought that Casey McQuiston was kind of a written off author for me because, you know what, this premise sounded amazing, like the Prince of England and the President's son sounded amazing to me, but I didn't get into it. However, after reading One Last Stop, which I have already read, so it's not on my TBR, but I highly recommend you read this book. It's perfect for summer. This is also by Casey McQuiston, and I loved it. It's a new favorite, so I'm gonna give this one another shot, knowing that I did finish a book with her writing style. I might be able to read this one. Though this is a male protagonist, this is a female protagonist. I've said this before. I don't know if that makes a difference to me, but maybe it does. So very excited to read this one. Then the final romance book that I have on this TBR is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This one has been hyped up so much for me by Sarah, and I'm honestly so excited because I read Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas, really loved it. I know that it wasn't perfect and there was definitely things in it that I was kind of like, you wrote that in a book and you got away with it. But this one is apparently an age gap romance, but without the like the cringe. Some age gap romances can have a lot of cringy tropes and cringy like things in it, so Sarah has said that this is not like that. So that is on my romance TBR. I'm going to quickly go through a couple of books that are on my summer TBR, but I haven't actually got the physical copies yet because they're not out. So the first one is Ace of Spades. This is like a Gossip Girl dark academia thriller and it sounds amazing. I have ordered the Illumicrate one. It should be coming soon. I don't know when, but it should be coming soon. It did ship and I'm very excited to read it. The next one is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson, which is the 4th Truly Devious book. I don't actually know if this is like following on from the storyline in Truly Devious or if it's like a whole new storyline. I don't know, but I know it is like in the same world and the same like school as Truly Devious, pretty sure anyway, so there will definitely be like some familiar characters. If I have time to reread the whole Truly Devious series first, I might do that, but I probably won't because it comes out this month. They both come out this month. Very excited about those. And also Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin. This is Blood and Honey, the second one. Gods and Monsters is the third and final Serpent and Dove book, and it comes out in July, I think. It was supposed to come out in like late August, early September, but they moved it to July, and I'm actually really excited. I loved the first Serpent and Dove book, like it was one of my favorites of 2019. However, this one definitely did let me down quite a lot, which I was very disappointed in. I didn't really like the ending, but I'm still going to read the third and final one to see what happens, see how it closes up, and hopefully give Shelby the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so next we're moving on to fantasy, and honestly I don't know who I think I am or what kind of reading speed I think I have, because this is the amount of fantasy books that I have on this TBR, which is very ambitious. Don't think I'm going to achieve it, but we're going to try anyways. Okay, so the first one is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. I kind of want to read this whole series because Sophia is hosting like a readathon for reading this whole series, and I definitely do want to participate. I will try my best to read all of them, but like I especially want to read the smaller books because I miss them so much. I miss the nostalgia and the vibes that I got from reading these books for the first time, so I'm very excited. I kind of want to read Kingdom of Ash, which is the only unread book in that series that I have before I start the series again, but we're going to see how much time I have because that is quite a lot. The next one that I have is a fairly new release, and it is The Jasmine Thrown by Tasha Suri. I'm very excited for this. It has a sapphic romance in here, and it is essentially this princess wants to take over the throne from her brother, and she teams up with this priestess and they end up falling in love. That is probably a very bad description of this book, and I'm sure there's a lot more that goes on because of the size of it. And yeah, I'm also thinking of starting a sapphic book club because I love reading sapphic books, and I kind of want to start like a book club, maybe like read a sapphic book a month. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. I'm thinking. Okay, the next book on here, you're not ready for this edition. You may have seen it in a vlog already, but it's so beautiful, and it is Witches Steeped in Gold, and I'm so excited to read this. Honestly, look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This is the Fairy Loot edition, by the way. And this is about two rival witches who have like a curse and they need to like reluctantly team up together to like save the world or something. Again, very bad description, I am sure, but you get the gist. Enemies to lovers, I'm presuming, or maybe they don't become lovers and I will be just very disappointed. Okay, the next one is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. This seems so amazing. Again, another Fairy Loot edition, and it's absolutely stunning. I don't 100% know what this is about, but I know about like a prison. She has to like team up with like this group of misfits or something, and this seems so amazing. Cannot wait to read this. The next one is a fairly ambitious one again, and it is Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I was so excited for this book to come out. I'm still very excited to read it. However, lately I have been seeing some negative things about it, but I'm still really excited to read it. It is quite chunky, and I know it's going to be a little bit hard to understand because it's like high fantasy, and I'm pretty sure that it's adult fantasy as well. And I'm looking at the chapters and they seem a little bit long, and this is again another group of like people with different powers that need to team together to save the world or save something. I don't know. Sounds amazing, and I cannot wait to read this. And the next one is one that has no tie to summer or no new release at all, but it is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I started it, I got 10 chapters in, and I'm really liking it, but for some reason I can't get into it, and I really want to, because from what everybody has said is like, yeah, the start is a little bit slow, but once you get into it you're going to care about it so much and you're going to love it and everything like that, and I really want to get that. And also I know there is a sequel coming out. I don't know if it's coming out this year, but I'm still very excited to read it whenever it does come out. Very excited to read this book. book and I hope I get to it this summer. We are nearly through this TBR, guys. Keep going. Okay, so the next fantasy book that I have on this TBR is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. You may be wondering, have I read this book already? Yes, but there is a very specific reason that I'm not going to talk about just yet, but it is a very exciting reason that I am going to be reading and annotating this book. There will be people that know, there will be people that don't know, but you will all know soon enough. And I'm very excited to read this again because I feel like when I read it the first time, I didn't fully appreciate it and I was just trying to like rush through it like a normal fantasy book, expecting a lot of plot, but it isn't a book like that. It's a very lyrical book. It's very character driven and I'm very excited to read it because honestly, do I remember a lot of the things that happen in here? No. So very excited to read this and annotate and give my thoughts. We only have 2 fantasy books left and then we're on to our last genre. So the next one that I have is The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan Hay. This is about 2 sisters who get separated and stranded on a desert island and they don't remember anything except for the fact that they have a sister and they need to get back to each other. And also, as far as I know, this has like elements of like sci-fi because it's set in the future and in a very like climate challenged future, so it has a lot of elements of like the effects of climate change and things, which I'm kind of scared to read because like I know them, I know they're bad, but I don't want to like be reading this like sci-fi story about something that very possibly could happen in our like near future. It's gonna terrify me, but it is short, so I'm hoping that this is gonna be like a wholesome sister book. I know some people have loved it, I know some people have absolutely hated it and said they're very confused while reading it, so we'll see which side I fall on. The next one is a book that I just need to finish and I don't know what is stopping me from finishing it, but it is In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. I started this book a good few weeks ago, like early May, mid-May. I'm really liking it, which is the weird thing. Like I'm literally loving this book so much, so why aren't I reading it? I don't know, but this is about a blood mage and it has polyamorous relationships in here. I know I'm not giving like full summaries of all these books because there's so many books in here, it would literally take forever, but I will try link the Goodreads below or leave the titles below that you can like check them out on Goodreads or whatever if you're interested in them, or like ask me in the comments and I'll try to answer the best that I can. All kind of like palace, betrayal, spy, propaganda kind of thing, and also like with blood magic and forbidden magic and things like that, and it's very good so far. Do I know why I cannot get through this? I don't, but I am like a third of the way through. Very excited to finish it whenever I do get around to it. Okay guys, we are nearing the end of this overly ambitious TBR video and I have 3 books left. 2 of them are historical fiction and 1 of them is a thriller. So I'm going to start with the historical fiction. So the first one that I have is The Women at Hitler's Table. I hauled this the other day and I'm very excited to read it. This takes place at the end of World War II when Hitler has realized that he is losing the war, so he goes into hiding. But he chooses 10 women to go into the bunker with him and taste test his food, poison test his food, and basically just like protect him and try everything before he tries it to make sure that nobody's trying to kill him. And we followed these 10 women's stories. I know that this is based on a true story, but I have yet to find out if this is like the actual women telling the story themselves or if this is just like a fictionalized story based on what happened. I'm thinking it's the latter because I don't know if they survived, but I'm hoping that it has like a lot of elements of truth to it too. So the next book on here is also historical fiction and it is Mary Jane. It says Almost Famous meets Daisy Jones and the Six. I haven't read Almost Famous, but I have read Daisy Jones and the Six, and this follows a 14-year-old girl in the 70s kind of finding her feet in the music world. I am slightly scared to read this book because you hear a lot of horror stories of what happened in the music industry in the 70s, and you hear the fact that she's 14 and you kind of know that things are not going to end very well for her. So I'm kind of scared for what's going to happen, but I'm also very excited because I need more Daisy Jones in my life. I need more Evelyn Hugo in my life. If you have any recommendations based on basically any of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, drop them below. Desperately need them. But this is very exciting and it's also not too long. And the final book on this overly ambitious TBR that I am almost certainly not going to complete, but we can be ambitious anyways, is The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, and this is the author of The Silent Patient. I haven't yet read that, but I do plan on reading it this Halloween, and this is essentially again a dark academia thriller. Don't know what it is about dark academia thrillers or thrillers in the summer, but it's so comforting and I love like the academia aesthetic, even though I despise school. Maybe a few murders would like spice it up a little bit. This book It basically follows this girl who is fairly certain that her professor is going around murdering students, and she kind of needs to prove it. I don't think it has any like paranormal or supernatural elements. I'm hoping it doesn't anyways, because it reminds me a little bit of Ninth House in the way that it is like set at a university where murders are happening. So we're gonna read it, we're gonna find out. I'm also taking part in Summer Ween, which is the readathon hosted by Gabby and Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte, and I'm very excited because this is perfect for it. And also it's not too long and hopefully not too scary. So guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this TBR. I am sorry if it was really long. I hope you got some book recommendations. Let me know down in the comments what books you're excited for this summer, or if there's any that I should add onto my radar, though clearly I really don't need to add any more. That is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Comment the strawberry emoji if you watched to the end, because honestly we're feeling the summer vibes. I'm gonna go eat some strawberries right now, so it seems fitting. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Leave a comment down below if you want to. I love your comments, it makes my day. Stay safe, stay amazing, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!